What up, people? This is Playing in Traffic, and my name is Lewis Lee from All Ends Media. And I'd like to welcome everybody in the chat room. I'd like to welcome everybody on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Ray?
And I am Ray Guarino, co-host of Motormouth Radio on Long Island in New York. Dave?
I'm Dave. I own Hot Rod Innovations. You can check us out on the web, hotrodinnovations.cool.
Right. You had the different URL. That's right. I remember.
Yes.
That.
Yep.
That's cool. I've never seen that one.
Yep. It's the real deal. Yeah. So you got to do something to stand out, right? Everybody can remember cool. I mean, we're all about trying to make cool.
It's kind of funny. My daughter is looking to build a website for her. She's in design. She's a designer, so she's in school and college, and she's going to use it for school and then probably later on. So the URL she wanted wasn't available as a .com, but she didn't want a .net or a . They actually offer a .org. I'm like, wow, really? You can get a .org? And I said we were talking about how the subscript on the there's a better word for that on the URL, how it can basically lead traffic or people will or won't find you because of that. So, but the big thing is search engine SEO, search engine optimization. If you got that knocked, they're going to find you because Google will be your friend.
Yep. Yeah. At this point, if you just Google Hot Rod Innovations, we're the first thing that pops up. So
right.
Yeah, Jim just put it in the chat room. So if you want to hit the link in the chat room, check him out. So Dave, tell us what you do.
So we manufacture a line of parts. We do what's out right now is we have a throttle return spring kit that uses a little coil over shock. Instead of stretching on a spring, we're using a spring and compression. It's a little billet coil over. Lets us make it adjustable, just like you would, like the coil over on your suspension. So you can adjust the tension on the spring, change the feel of the gas pedal in the car, make it softer or stiffer without changing the physical spring. Puts it in a really small package. It's all billet aluminum. We machine everything in-house. From a safety standpoint, everybody runs the dual springs, right? The stretchy springs. The reason for that is that spring, eventually they're going to fail. They all do. It's just nature of the beast. Everybody runs two. So when one fails, we don't put the thing into a tree. Having it in compression and then captured on that little shock, even if it broke, which, I mean, we've never had a failure. And there's a reason why we use coil springs on cars in compression. It's a much more stable situation for the spring. But even if you cut the thing, it kind of overlaps into itself. But because it's in compression and it's captured on the shock, the spring can't just fall off. So from a safety standpoint, the way we do things, which is we're the only ones on the market that do anything in compression, I think it's a big leap forward. And then we do Ray was just talking about the old Thunderbird that he was looking at. We have a slide away steering kit that works a lot like the, 60, 61, something like that, Thunderbirds, where there was a lever under the dash on those, and you could unlock the lever and slide the whole steering wheel over towards the center of the car. And there's the there's the throttle kit. So the steering kit,
Tony, hold on 1 second. Isn't that backwards?
Well, it can mount either way, but yes,
okay.
That's on.
All right.
Yeah, I always run them the other way, but it really makes no difference, I guess.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I guess not. Okay.
The steering kit works sort of like the Thunderbird, except ours is all automatic. When you open the door of the car, there's a pin switch that's part of the kit, just like when your dome light comes on. When the pin switch opens, the steering column automatically slides over. It's on a linear actuator. When you get in and sit down and close the door, it automatically slides back. I think there's on the website, if you go just under shop, hit the shop link and you scroll down and you click on the steering kit, there's some video on there to show the operation. But it's there we go. So it's a pretty simple, it's actually a really simple hookup for the steering kit. And then we're working on a couple of new products right now that we're going to debut at SEMA. One of them is a line of tools, some hand tools for shaping aluminum, and it's stuff that I made for myself for shaping aluminum that I think the world needs. So we're gonna bring that and be doing demos in the booth, and we're bringing some parts for the C10 pickups, and I'm a little hesitant to talk exactly about what we're going to bring here just yet.
Yeah, don't tell us. Just tell us where your booth's going to be and where to find you at SEMA.
So right here is an episode of Motorhead Garage playing here in the background that we did about the steering thing. Anyway, the booth number is 50031, and we're in the outside tent building, basically the featured products, first time people or whatever. We were at the show last year too, but we had such awesome foot traffic in that area. We don't have enough seniority yet to get into Hot Rod Alley, which is ultimately where we want to be. There was a couple of other options for us inside one of the buildings at SEMA, but I didn't feel like it was going to be the right fit. And with our experience we had last year being so good in that outside building, I mean, there was 5 of us working the booth last year, and I don't think in the 4 days of the show any of us sat down. I mean, we were jamming. So I felt like, let's just go back there. We have we doubled the size of the booth this year because we're bringing some new stuff. And, the C10 market, well, the classic truck market is, in fact, I just got an email today. SEMA puts out their, like a weekly newsletter or whatever. And they're talking about in 2019, the truck market, I forget how they worded it, but like truck upgrades or whatever is the largest share of the market still this year. Like people have spent more money on truck stuff than anything else. So it's the market to be into for sure. And the C10 pickup market, like 67 through 72, more specifically, that is just out of control right now.
Has the C10, have those trucks surpassed like the F100s for desirability?
Oh, yeah. I bet 5-fold, 10-fold.
Wow, because I know I know those trucks are. Well, I know those are hard to find. People swarm after them too. But.
Yep. That's actually. It's funny. I was just talking to my buddy Jason, who is probably listening. Hey, Jay. He's one of the guys that works with us. I've known him since 5th grade, where we go back a couple of weeks, and he helps us with. He's a pretty good guy, and we were just talking about this thing we're bringing to SEMA for the C10 stuff. I think the next variation we're going to be working on is actually for the Fords of the similar era, and then after that it will be the square body GM trucks.
Now those C10s, they've been hot for the last 4 or 5 years, man.
Very.
It's amazing that it's still this hot, after so many years. I mean, they're really pumping.
And the price tags are holy cow, man.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, yep.
Like $6 to $8 grand buys you something that needs everything. I mean, it's like, well, it was a truck 12 years ago. We think it's still a truck now. We're not sure. It's got some holes in it. I mean, it's nuts. It truly is. And the amount of money that these guys are spending on these, some of these really nice trucks. I mean, these guys are bringing their wallets, man. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. It's the new 32 Ford, right? It's the new 57 Chevy. Yep. I mean, every generation, it seems like you have that quintessential, everybody's got to have it car. And maybe not C10 specifically, but certainly classic trucks is like, it's the new it thing, man. Everybody is just digging on the trucks. And I think it's cool,
It makes sense. You can do anything to them. You can do to a car. Anything fits. In some cases, you have more room. And, it's a pickup. It's cool. I want to say just to do a little bookkeeping here, it was a year to the day tomorrow that you were on the show last. It was September 27th of 2018.
I got a thing on Facebook today that was like, they bring back like your memories, like a year ago, and it was the the thing from this show last year. I was cracking up today.
Oh yeah,
And it still came back, so that's a good thing, right?
It's a great thing.
yeah. We stayed friends.
Because I
Yes.
remember when you were on last, and it does. If you would ask me, of course, I would never say it was a year ago because it doesn't seem like it.
No, I would have thought it was a few months back, like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah,
I figured I did the show like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, time just, whew.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the only thing I can tell you about time is I know exactly how much time we got left between now and SEMA.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
It
it
goes
is
quick.
crunch. It's crunch time right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's whoever's going to be there, you got to make sure you come out to the booth. I'm telling you, I'm hesitant to talk about it just yet, but it's big.
You know what we should do is have all the Plan and Traffic family meet you over there at the booth one day, maybe early in the morning before you get jumping, and
I'll give you the tour because I'm
give us
telling
a tour.
you that this is going to be a thing.
I know Papa Squirrel and Debbie will be there probably. Chassis John, it'll be a whole bunch of us.
Yeah,
it'll be a whole bunch of us there.
So Chassis John, that just made me think of do you all follow any of the Drag Week stuff that was going on? This last week?
I haven't. No.
Some, not too much. It's a crazy week. So fill us in.
So I can't think of the guy's name that won the Unlimited division, whatever, the baddest hot rod on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
$599.
Wow.
He put the thing in the fives. These
Wow.
guys, and these cars, if you guys aren't aware, they don't go in trailers. They race 5 days, 5 different tracks, 200 miles apart from one another. The car has to tow its own trailer. So you got to have your slicks and all your tools and your jack in your own little trailer that you're towing with the race car. And you got to drive it. And then you're only allowed you can't even have a pit crew. So if you all these guys got a passenger, right? You and whoever your buddy is riding with you, that's the only people allowed to touch the car.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's awesome.
It's amazing where fast cars have landed, where they're at right now. Because years ago that was an impossibility. And it's
years ago, I want to say like 92 or 94. I think it was 92. One of the first years that they had the fastest street car in America shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy, Rod Sayberry, it was like a 1960 Corvette, pro street car, whatever. And he went 838. I don't know why that stuck in my head all these years, but I remember back then thinking that is a rocket. I mean, and that is a rocket. 830. Yeah. That is unreal.
Chassis John was number 2 in that same race.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's 25 years ago.
Yeah. And back then, those cars to qualify as a street car, they had to have plates on them, and they had to drive those cars around for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Without them overheating and cooking themselves, and then they considered that a street car.
Right.
They got guys running. This guy went 599 at 250 miles an hour
with air conditioner.
And then trailer stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and he towed his own slicks. You know what I mean? That's insanity.
Unbelievable.
Big turbos, big inch motor, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's big twins now.
Chassis John said he had to drive 25 miles, shut off, and then restart.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sure.
his car was number 2 in that race, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure the restart part was always a trick. Yeah.
Chassis John, what did your car run on that race?
Yeah, for some reason that Corvette deal running 830s or whatever, it just, I mean, I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but I could remember that one
wild.
deal.
John was 852.
Wow.
Good grief.
What's that? That's over $1.50. That's up.
Dude, that's still fast.
Yeah.
That's still fast, man.
Fast.
Eight.
I've never been in anything that fast ever.
Mm.
I've been in a real 10-second car, and that's crazy fast.
Yeah. One of my gut buddies in my car club, he has I think it's an 85 Caprice 2-door. And, he's a bigger guy, and he wears flip-flops, a tank top, and a helmet. And he's running 9s, man. And this car is, like, killing him.
Jeez.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. 3,300. What's it say? 3,350 pounds to rods 20. I don't understand what that means. Chassis John says 3,350, 3,350 pounds to rods 22. Oh, to Rod Saybury's 22. Got it. So John went 850 in a car that weighed 3,300 pounds. Rod's car weighed 2,200. I can't believe that Corvette only weighed 2,200 pounds.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Well, that's one of the first ways to make it go fast is you make it lighter.
Yeah. I mean, a 3,300 pound car going mid eights is
that's cooking.
That's downtown right there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's killer.
Yeah, that's fast, man.
Yeah. So jumping back to springs again, and like you said, with your carburetor spring, it's in compression, not in tension, which is great. So statically, there's no pressure on it, which will make it last longer. I know even back in the 70s, GM used a dual spring. It was a spring inside of a spring, and I have a few of them, and the outer one was very, very light. It was almost, and the inside one wasn't very, very stiff. So the combination of the two, I guess, was their way of tuning that feel. And I always wondered, I never had the pleasure of talking to an engineer to find out, but I was always curious exactly why they did that. Any ideas? Shed some light on one of my lifelong questions.
On why the two?
Yeah, why they used two. I think it's just because it was a tuning factor. I don't think it was in case one broke necessarily, because they were two very different tensions. But I don't know. I always wondered about that. And other manufacturers did not do that.
I mean, honestly, I always just, I guess, assumed it was like a built-in safety thing. Like if one did break, because when they break, they typically break where it comes in and it's bent over where it makes the hook.
Right.
They seem to like it that
Sure.
When they form that, it seems to put a stress riser or something in
the other thing GM did in a lot of those years is they used a little nylon bushing in the carburetor linkage and on the back, and so the hook of the spring was on nylon, not on metal. And again, I always wondered if that was another step in their development to try to prevent that from happening. But I have no idea. I can only guess at why. I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, I said, I always just assumed it was like to have a secondary backup,
right,
or something. I don't know because being stretched like that, if it breaks, that's it, right? It officially stopped working.
Right.
Which is why putting it in compression and having it captured is a move forward in the safety world.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if it breaks, it can't fall off. I mean, it's still it just becomes two shorter springs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with like say a quadrijet, there's actually a torsion spring on the throttle shaft. So like if you rack the throttle and let it go, it snaps closed.
That's correct.
So, but I guess they were the big fear that everybody always has is in a wide open throttle situation if that thing stays open. That's your worst scenario.
Right. I just hooked mine up. I just hooked mine up last week. Your system.
Oh, cool.
And
easy.
My
right?
problem is, it was really easy. But my problem is, I'm gonna have to change my throttle cable to one of those fancy ones with the bolt stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got to come up. I gotta get the fancier one.
So either that or I've done some cars that have the stock solid rod.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you have a solid rod.
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah, I do.
So and we had to modify the rod. If you send me some pictures, you might be able to. I can kind of see what you got going on, and then just mail me or UPS me the rod, and I'll modify it and send it back.
Okay.
So you won't have to change to a cable because we've done that on a couple of cars.
Well, I do like that cable look, though. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem. It's only what
$60 or something.
Yeah,
what
not even 12 inches long.
Louis, what car is that?
I put it on the Cadillac.
And it has a rod, really?
Yeah.
From the firewall. Jeez. So I mean,
well, it has the pedal that comes up, like the bar comes up, and then the rod comes from that to the carburetor. It's only about.
Oh, you're talking about from on the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was picturing like a '55 Chevy has a solid rod that goes from the firewall out to the carburetor. That's what I was thinking on the other end. I'm sorry.
And then it has the the cruise control cable on the other side.
Right.
So yeah. So I think I'm just gonna go buy the the cable.
Like a low car.
Yeah, because that's what I've been using a low car in my car, and that was no issue at all. I thought that the issue would be where it attaches to the carburetor, the spring and your cable. That's sometimes something you got to fiddle with. But
yeah, so I got the cable running under the bracket because it's just not angled right now. So, but
got it.
Right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go take a picture of it. I'll be back.
Well, that's the thing, though. When you deal with a company like Hot Rod Innovations, Dave, you guys pay a lot of attention to customer issues like that. And I know I had an issue with the bracketry when I first got it, and it was just it needed to be spaced out a little more. And I got in touch with you, and you just sent me another bracket that fit, and ding, and the story was done.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's the beauty of dealing with a place that has great and high regard for their customers.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, without good customer service, you got nothing.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything in this business is word of mouth. Yeah. All of it, 100%. And the unfortunate part is you can do a great job for people for 10 years straight. And it takes that one guy that feels like he got jilted somehow. And boy, can they spread the word of death or what? I mean,
and now today you live and die on social media.
Yes.
People take to social media, and everybody, not everybody, but too many people see something like that, just see a bad review, and now that becomes gospel.
Yep.
And then it's like, my friend, and the story starts changing. It's like post office, And
sure. And I was telling Lewis earlier, after the first of the year, you should be able to find our stuff in the Summit catalog.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we're working with them, and so that's pretty big for me.
Yeah,
that's a cool thing.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's see what you got.
Yeah, that's the old GM throttle. Yeah, the side by side, right?
Yeah, we can. I can help you out there.
Yeah,
we'll get that dialed in.
Yeah, I mean, I like the picture I showed earlier has the screw that screws onto your bracket and has a little cable. That looks pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's just a low car. We just tried to do something that, I mean, all the street rod guys, I mean, that's pretty much, it's pretty standard anymore.
So I can get that at Auto Parts store?
Summit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to get them. The original Summit, the main branch is only 45 minutes from me.
Yeah, well, at some point here, we need to get together because I'm going to end up flying out there to Akron to go take the tour. That's all part of the deal when you become what they call like part of the family, basically.
Really?
So when we get ready to finalize all the paperwork, me and my boy are going to fly out there, and they're going to, give us the tour and meet everybody, which is really cool. I'll tell you what, dealing with them on this side, right? I mean, I've been buying parts from Summit as long as I can remember at this point, right? I always had really great experience. They are a spectacular group of people. I mean, truly, really good people. But anyhow, so they're going to fly us out to meet everybody. You and me we need to get together and go have lunch or something. I'll come out.
Yeah.
So I'll take a little drive your direction. I can't be that close and not come have lunch, right?
Yeah. We're 45 minutes from there.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, in fact, that's closer than when my kid and I flew to Tennessee to film those episodes of Motorhead Garage. We drove like an hour and a half away one day and went to Dollywood. That was fun.
Yeah. Dollywood's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it was cool. Super cool.
I'll tell you what, man. She did not mess around with that town. She put some stuff together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, went there last year for vacation.
That's the first time. It's the only time I've seen a bald eagle up close. They are massive. Yeah. I had no idea how big of a bird that was.
Yeah, big as a refrigerator.
Yeah, that's a big old thing. And she's got a big old, like a real big rescue deal going on there for the bald eagles and stuff. It was really cool. We had a blast. Him and I went up a day early and just tore it up. That was fun.
Yeah, I took my wife there for one of our anniversaries. and I've stayed at Pigeon Forge, and it's really beautiful area.
I heard they put on a really good car show, and I'm trying to remember what it's
It was
called.
just last week. It was the Rod Run, the Pigeon Forge Rod Run. Yeah, it's down in the LeConte Center. Down, I don't know if you spent some time when you go down Parkway. That's the main road. That's what they call it. You head towards Gatlinburg, and I always tell people it's like Disney but stretched out on a road because there's just stuff on both sides of the road everywhere you go. And I forget what direction that is now. Maybe southwest. At the end, there's a big a section that has a big Ferris wheel and by John, and right past there's the center, and that's where the Rod Run. That's the epicenter of the Rod Run.
Yeah, I've heard from several people that's a have to. You know, at some point you got to make it out and do that. I heard they put on a really phenomenal.
Yeah, big. Very true.
So I see
Hey, John.
852 over here.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I didn't realize you were runner up that year.
Actually, I wasn't driving the car.
Oh, okay.
Sold the car to Steve Johnson. He owns Induction Solutions Nitrous Systems.
Oh, wow.
He drove the car. He was driving for a pro mod team out of Chicago, and they used Scott Schafferoff race engines. And the team owner wanted to do. He heard about this race Hot Rod was putting on, and he wanted to do something. And they were looking for a car, so Scott called me up, and he's like, "Dude, I need your car. You need to sell your car to these guys."
Mm-hmm.
So we came up with a deal, and then we all went down there, and the car did super good. Yeah, it was great. It was a number 2 car, and it actually set the mile per hour record for that race.
Huh.
Even though Fabry was quicker ET wise, we were faster than he was mile an hour. In the semifinals, they set the record, and that held even for the second race the next year. Nobody came close to that mile an hour.
Wow.
Well, that shows the horsepower.
A lot of horsepower. And then,
that's mile an hour is all horsepower.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, I found that car in Pennsylvania and got it back.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in the process of rebuilding it now.
Where are you at with it now, John? How does it sit today as we speak?
How do I flip the camera? Oh, I got it. Hold on.
You did it last time.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, there's a
There it is right now.
Nice.
Okay.
It's in a million pieces.
Okay.
So
Looks like a Firebird.
we're getting ready to put a chassis in it. We're getting rid of all of this. The car did what it did with a stock front frame.
Which is, well,
Wow.
Totally stock front frame
yeah.
with tubular upper control arms.
Uh-huh.
And
There's part of your 3,300 pounds.
yeah, right. And an old school 2x3 back half
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
with I got everything piled in here.
Yeah.
Because I'm busy working on this Camaro, which is over here. Just a regular.
That's not the one you had.
Link.
That's not the Camaro you had in there a while ago. Did it come back?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to. We're gonna do. Saturday. I'm spraying the bottom of the car with that truck bed liner.
Yeah.
And I just got the front frame. The Chris Alston front frame came back today from Powder Coat.
Mm.
So
Nice.
we're gonna start putting this thing together. The kid's ordering his motor in about a week or two. 632 cubic inches, 800 horse pump gas motor.
Wow.
And I'm gonna get this thing together, and hopefully a little after SEMA, we'll be able to ship the car back to Pennsylvania.
Nice.
This is the Lenko transmission that's going in my car.
That's just a gorgeous piece of machinery.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
It's just totally awesome.
It is.
All business.
Just
Just all
wanna look at
business.
All
Yeah.
business, total business, and then trick titanium bell housing.
Now,
Go in front of
what kind of fluids that tranny take, John?
Believe it or not, it's like a 30 weight gear loop.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's
So
it's a lightweight gear loop. No, actually, you know what? It's not even a gear loop. It's an automatic transmission fluid.
yeah, I was going to say that the Tremec that I have in my car uses GM Synchromesh fluid. It literally is like transmission fluid.
What's actually in here? Each one of these sections is drums and clutches from a Turbo 400.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hmm.
Hence the roundness.
That's how these are made, and this is it uses this lever to push a plunger down, and that's how it changes speed.
Okay.
Each section is 2 speeds.
Mm.
So if all the levers are forward, that means all these sections are in low.
Right.
And then as you
pull back,
pull each one back,
right,
it goes into direct.
Right.
So it's low, 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 and then it's high, low, low, and then high, high, low, and then all high, which is 1-to-1, and then you got to reverse it.
Right.
You know, and the cool part
literally just cleared up what I always thought was some sort of voodoo black magic.
Yeah,
really.
You watch the guys bang, 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 right?
How that works?
There's no real black magic in them. And they're unbelievably strong. I mean, you could put 1,800 horsepower through this thing, and it'll just laugh at you.
Yeah.
Because the technology is Turbo 400, but there's no Turbo 400 parts in there.
Yeah.
The drums and the steels and the frictions they're aftermarket stuff, but it's all based on that Turbo 400 thing.
And I always wondered how that worked.
And they're so easy to work on because you can even take the input shaft out.
Wow. That's great.
Work on it, So it's
not like a Muncie.
No, not at all.
Look
at that fine spline.
Yeah.
So John, what made you go with that transmission and not automatic?
Well, the car originally the car had a 4-speed in it, and I just loved being able to shift and drive a car with the 4-speed.
Mm-hmm.
But I got heavier into drag racing, and the 4-speed really wasn't the way to go consistence wise, So I wound up with a Turbo 400, and then later on we wound up putting a Power Glide in the car because you make a lot of horsepower, you don't need all that gear.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got the car back this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it for fun. I'm not doing it to go racing.
Right.
At 61 years old, it's enough work for me to build a full tube chassis to put in this car and actually get this thing back together again.
Right.
So I'm like, I need to be able to play.
You could have run a 22 with a Vertigate and had fun.
I was going to run a 22. I was thinking about putting a 22.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, remember I told you the story that the car, after I blew up a 21, a 22, a T10, that a local guy on Long Island, he built me a Ford top loader.
Right.
So the first thing that I said I was going to do was put the third pedal back in and go buy a top loader and see if I could find that Super Shifter 3 that you sent me the link for.
Right.
And I was just going to kind of recreate that history of the car because it was just so much fun to drive with the 4-speed.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that shifter was discontinued, and if you were buying it from somebody that had the shifter, who had the mount, somebody else had the levers, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? You want the ultimate street cred? Buy yourself a Lenko.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I did.
Or a hydro stick.
You know? So I'm like, I'm putting a Lenko in the car.
Yeah, that's fine.
And every time I post pictures of it on Facebook, people are like, oh my God, you are the king.
Yeah.
They don't realize that it's a very, very easy transmission to use. It's just expensive.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. I mean, it between the transmission, the titanium bell housing, and a really, really good dual disc adjustable clutch from my buddies at Ram.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you 10 G's for a transmission. You know? It's an outlay. But this is the last time I'm doing it, and I'm going
big
full Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah, if you can do it, do it. Yep.
Got to have the Mercedes-Benz of transmissions.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's good. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll have a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Should be good. So, did you see, Ray? I said that about the compression spring.
I did. What was this? What was the comment?
I made a comment about that the compression spring on the throttle is like a really cool idea, just like the compression springs in a Speed King pedal.
Oh yeah, of course, right, right.
Because like even my DW pedals, those springs are in tension.
We're talking drum sets now, Dave. Yeah.
When you push the pedal down, that beater, it's stretching the spring.
Right,
and
right.
Trust me, there's inconsistencies in that,
Yes.
and I really think compressing a spring. I mean, I don't know if there's a way of measuring it. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
If you were to compress a spring 100 times and be able to read how many pounds of pressure it is, and then do the same thing by stretching it, I guarantee you that when you're compressing it, it's the same every time.
Yeah, you think about like a valve spring checker, a valve spring test you can, and I have gauges in the other room, force gauges that measure this way.
Sure.
So, and the thing is, I got this drum set this year from a buddy of mine, and it was all mismatched, and I'm still trying to put it together right. And I'm looking at the foot pedal, and there's no springs on it. Like, how is this guy playing this with no springs? I don't know. Put like a bicycle clip for your toe so you could lift it back up again. Like,
Dave, there's
the
next project, spring for
chain.
Making parts for drum sets now.
Hey, whatever it takes, right?
Whatever it takes, man. Yeah, but for sure the spring compression is a more natural orientation for a spring. For sure.
I'll be buying that from you, definitely. I'm putting this car's getting a big cubic inch pump gas motor with 2 stages of nitrous, and I'm using that Holley Sniper fuel injection system.
Okay, the Holley Dominator Sniper or the regular Sniper?
Probably the Dominator Sniper, the one that handles. I got to be able to make like 1,500 horse.
Yep, that'd be the Dominator. So when you're ready, just get a hold of me. I'll just send you one.
Cool.
You don't have to buy one.
Awesome, man.
Just get a hold of me and tell me what you want, and we'll just get it shipped out, man. That's easy.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Dave don't play, man. I told him I was doing mine, and it was here like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Absolutely.
Yeah. No. Anybody that's a friend of the show, you gotta take care of that, right? So
yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll represent it.
I'll make sure you get ink on that one.
Cool. I appreciate it.
I got a lot of people follow the Facebook page on this car.
Oh, I bet. Well, the car's got a lot of lineage, I mean, there's
got a lot of history.
Yeah, a lot of history. That's what I mean. That's really cool.
Yeah, when I got it back, I opened up a Facebook page specifically for it, for the resurrection of this car. And there's people. I got people from around the world because they remember the car from that race in 1992.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. My wife was kind of amazed. She was like, "That car's got like personality and history." She's like, "You're a nobody, and everybody knows your car."
Right. That's the way it is too, huh?
No, it is with all car guys, right? I mean, it's the car that gets all the that's everyone remembers the car. I call everybody buddy because I can't remember anybody's name. Everyone's buddy.
But you remember the car.
That car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's guys like Rod Saber. He's a really good friend of mine. I met him back, in the late 70s at the Street Machine Nationals. And you don't forget that name.
Right.
Yeah, because he's putting the stick out. You remember the guys that beat you up all the time. Hey, John, when you take that front ender part, you need to go ahead and send me those A-arms, those tube A-arms up the hill.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you gonna leather wrap them?
Nah, man, put them on Consuela.
Wait a minute, I don't know if the geometry is going to be correct for a B body.
Oh yeah, I'm a B body. Yeah, you're a.
Oh yeah, this is F body. I don't know. Yep. I'll send them to you. See what happens.
I'm
not. When I cut this chassis up out of this car, it's getting cut into pieces and brought over to the scrap yard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I can unbolt those things. That's no problem at all.
Yeah, I might be able to fabricate a little bit.
Yeah.
None the hammer won't fix.
Some stuff. I don't know in terms of like.
Well, first off, the ball
The
joint
two
size
bolts
is
that
long.
hold it in. Yeah, the two bolts that hold it in.
Yeah.
I don't know what the dimension on that is, and then
They're like
Mhm.
half 20s or something. Half, yeah.
yeah. Well, in other words,
But
spacing.
I'm thinking the length too. The length
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
arm, is different.
You might be wrong.
From the mounting center to the upper ball joint, that might
Right.
be completely different. And then, you got that angle.
Right.
In other words,
Yeah.
That sets up the camber curve for the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a triangle, but
Right.
the ball joint is pushed back or pushed
Right.
forward or
Right.
straight
Or
up.
drop down. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
maybe.
don't know if you guys see this on the screen over here. Jim says second gen F body will fit on a B body.
There you go.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Thanks, Jim. That's why we're here to learn. To learn.
I mean, I'll tell you what, that's one thing GM's good at, right? Recycling parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't play, boy. They did.
Yeah, you got to double check the ball joint fitment into the spindle, though, depending on what spindle you're going to use.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The B bodies, well, they were small and big ball joints on the B bodies, but I think the caddies all had the big ones.
And these
Yeah.
have built-in travel limiters.
Oh, there you go.
So
That's
That's pretty slick.
quick and easy way of doing it.
jack it up and you spin this up or down.
Yeah.
The limit, I think you can
Oh.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how
We learn something new every day, don't you?
Yeah, that one wanted to
get
hit.
the car to like skate off the line with the front tires, about an inch or so off the ground.
Right.
Huh.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
I think in a couple
Then it
after
would
SEMA.
Yeah.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
sweet.
Take the wheelie bars off and just let it fly.
Yeah.
So, we had some good times with that car. We're gonna have good times again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be good.
When I get back from SEMA, I think I'm gonna order my air rod stuff.
Ah.
So start working on that and the exhaust.
I gotta order airlift bags for my truck.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Back.
Yeah, you're saying you don't have the load capacity. That's in a Tacoma, right?
No, I got a Tundra.
Oh, Tundra. Okay. It was a T.
But my problem is with my aquarium business, I have to go pick up a pallet of salt
Yeah.
every month.
Wow.
24 boxes on a pallet. Each box weighs like 54 pounds.
Yeah.
Problem is, my forklift at my shop only has standard forks.
Oh.
So when my wholesaler loads the pallet, he's got to put it at the very back of the bed,
Right.
just enough that I could close the tailgate,
Yeah.
and the truck just drags its ass the whole way back to the shop.
Right.
So what I need is to go buy a 3500 dually,
Yeah.
because I'm going to need to get a trailer for the Firebird anyway to tow it
Mhm.
around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the Toyota works real good for what I'm doing, because I don't really do as much as the guys that work for me in terms of like carrying water and
Yeah.
doing all
Yeah.
that service work and everything. So
Hey, you convinced us. Just convince your wife.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We're in. Yep.
no,
I'm on board.
understand. The other night, she says to me, "Oh, come here, you got to see this." And I'm like, "What?" She's showing me pictures of this awesome motorhome for sale.
Wow.
She
Uh-oh.
goes, "Look at this motorhome." She goes, "Isn't this cool? You could tow a race car trailer behind it."
Oh,
She goes,
jeez.
"Now you don't have to stay in the hotel."
Wow.
She's like, I don't know, honey. I don't know.
So
Convince me.
yeah, she's on board with either like a nice size motorhome or one of those toter homes.
Yeah.
Toter motor.
Yeah, toter homes are even better because they're built on like a tractor trailer chassis,
Right.
Yep.
And they're nice too, man.
Yeah,
I was just looking at one today, and it was nice.
that's cool.
Is that the one you posted? You were
Yeah.
posting stuff earlier but
Yeah.
my buddy Jason that I was telling you about earlier. He's like, "Oh, your buddy Lewis, you got to look at the stuff he's posting, like the big house with the garage and all the stuff."
Well, no, listen, that was a garage.
Yeah.
My wife, listen, my wife said, "Hey, why don't we buy some land and build a big garage and live in it, and then build a house, smaller house, as we go along?" I'm like, "Yeah, that might be a plan." So then I came across those houses on the internet today. I'm like, look at these houses. They're inside the garages.
Wow.
Yep, they're building monster garages.
I'm trying to think of the name. There's a Facebook page all about garages.
Yeah, that's what I posted.
Okay. And
what
it
is
shows there's so many people that they'll build a huge garage and then it has a living area in it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it
My
is.
wife wouldn't go for that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind either. But
I think I'm good.
yeah, now I'm gonna come move in over at Lewis's place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a big old garage.
At least put a car over there.
Yeah.
cool.
Let me see. Hold on. The name of the thing is
Isn't it like Garage Dreams or
Garage Goals.
Garage? Yeah, that's
Garage
it.
goals.
Yep.
That's a great page.
Yeah, it is. When I lived out in the country. I had 4 acres, and we lived out in the countryside, so I could see through the woods in the winter. And a guy built a garage, and I kept seeing little kids playing around the garage, but it wasn't no house. I'm like, I think they're living in the garage. So one day I'm at the gas station, and this dude pulls up in a big dually, and I'm like, hey, dude, you live around the corner from me, I think. You live in that garage. He goes, yeah. So he took me over there. We became pretty good friends, and he built a probably a 6-car garage, and on the side he built like an apartment. And when you walked in, it was just like a house. You couldn't tell. But then every year he would build part of his house outside. One year he did the basement, then he covered it. Then the next year he did the first floor, covered it. Every year, and he paid off everything they did every year.
Wow.
So when he was done building it, it was like a mansion, dude. It was a $450,000 house that he built and paid off, as he built it.
Oh God.
Nice.
And $450,000 here is like a $600,000 house somewhere else, like in Miami or in Ohio, man. You got a $400,000 house, you're a king. Yep.
It's true.
Here you're
Like
normal.
In California, if you have a $400,000 house, you're homeless.
Yeah, right.
It is crazy here.
In New York, you're just like the lower middle class.
Oh no, man, you're a big dog here. Believe me. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, my buddy Jason was. I don't know what area of Ohio he was just in, but he was out there for work, and he was looking around, and he's like, "Man, it's crazy what you can get for the money."
Yeah.
Compared to we're out here on the West Coast, it's not only do our politics suck because apparently our politicians are crazy, but the price tags are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
And
like,
I live in.
Petersville.
Yeah. I live in between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, exactly an hour in between both. And people live here and commute because it's so cheap to live here in Youngstown.
Right.
Say a $400,000 house here, in Pittsburgh it's $7,000.
Right.
Same house, same neighborhood.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So we live in Brentwood, which is about an hour outside of I'm afraid to even use this word, San Francisco. Okay. So
capital.
Yeah.
we're probably maybe an hour and 20 east of that. We live in farm country. It's all agricultural out where I live, but I commute into the Bay Area every day. It is a whole different universe, man. And I'll tell you what, everyone sees my wife and I talk about this all the time. Everyone sees the postcards and stuff, right? The Golden Gate Bridge and we think, I wonder what people must think, right? That live back east or in the Midwest that want to come out to California and see what they must think when they get here. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing nice out here. I mean, it's not, the weather's good, and the coast is nice and all that, but man, it don't look anything like the postcard. I'll just tell you, it don't look like the postcard.
Is it true? Like you see these pictures on Facebook of what's now Skid Row. Is it really like that?
Yep.
And that they got, like the policemen are getting sick and the sanitation people are getting sick because there's just feces everywhere. And
yes. So, I mean, where I live.
I look at that and I say to myself, how do the politicians that run that city, that county, that
how do they get away with it?
Put up
How do they allow it?
And why don't you, as residents, grab them by the neck and shake them until they're just about dead, until they fix what's going on?
All right, so here's
allow your city to turn into a garbage dump.
well, here's the thing. Okay, first of all, I didn't vote for any of these people in charge. We'll start with that. And where we live, where I live in Brentwood, we don't have. It's different, right? It's agricultural. It's hardworking folks around here, good people. This is not we're outside of the Bay Area.
Right.
In the Bay Area, like I drive past these big patches every day to and from work of what we call Pelosi villages. Nancy Pelosi, right? I mean, it's just these homeless encampments. And the police have it's this constant battle. These areas, they pop up, right? There's tents, and I mean trash, dude. Like these people are collecting it. I don't know where all the garbage comes from, but it's a lot, right? And it'll go for a week or 2 or 3, and they grow and grow and grow. And then the cops come in, and Caltrans or whatever comes in and cleans everything out. And then 2 days later, it's just this revolving door. I have several friends that are in law enforcement that I grew up with, and one of my very good friends is he works homicide in Oakland, and Oakland's in the East Bay. It's there's at least parts of Oakland are pretty rough, and so I get all the stories, from him about. He's like, man, everything you see on the news about how bad things are, it's the real world. It's like times 10. Like it's
wow.
And we keep electing. When I say we, I mean somebody else at my house. How we are electing these people, man, it is beyond me, because it is California in the 80s, right? I mean, I was just a little kid, but in the 70s and 80s was like had the strongest middle class in the whole country.
Yeah.
We were the 7th largest economy in the world. We might still be because of Silicon Valley and how much money is generated there.
And how,
but I mean, there was so much manufacturing work in California. I mean, we were awash in welding, machining. I mean, this was an epicenter here.
well, California's got everything, because you've got the entertainment industry.
Yep.
You've got aircraft.
You got the ports.
And space stuff. And then you've got Silicon Valley.
Right. Well, so when California, and I don't want to get political because this is not what this is about, but when California was a reliably red state, we had the strongest middle class in the country.
Yeah.
Now that California is solid blue, we have the highest homeless rate in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a big shift in obviously government policy here.
And what's crazy is people don't see it. I don't understand.
Here's the deal. And I work with some real nice people, like because I still have a regular day job, which I think after the first of the year is going to go away when the summit thing finally happens for us. So I work with some people that are real nice. I think, we disagree. I mean, I don't ever say anything at work, but it's just us girls here talking. So I disagree with their political views, right? And these people think the problem is we haven't gone far enough.
Oh, jeez.
That the answer is more money. It's more, I mean,
control.
Throw more at them, yeah.
So here in California, and I don't know if it's nationwide, but I don't know if you guys heard the whole straw thing, right? We got rid of plastic straws.
Yeah.
So we got rid of plastic straws in paper wrappers.
But
we traded that for a paper straw in a plastic wrapper. And we're all patting ourselves on the back. Hey. And then at the same time, we have areas right by my work in Hayward, which is a little south of Oakland, where they have needle exchanges.
Right.
Where the junkies go and can get clean needles. And then, where the needles end up? In the street.
Yeah.
So you got rid of the plastic straw and the paper wrapper, traded it for the paper straw and the plastic wrapper, mix in a couple of dirty needles. California. We are golden.
That's terrible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Papa Squirrel said that the city people vote those people in and the country people don't. That's there's more population that's messing up the whole state.
It's bad. It's bad. I think it's the salt in the air. Like as you get closer to the ocean,
You get
maybe
done.
out here something happens. I don't know, man. But
No, it's out here too.
He
You
may
know.
be onto something. That may be the reason that where I'm living in Florida is like the dumb state because I got water on 3 sides.
yeah,
Could be.
I didn't need to go on a political thing, but yeah, it's crazy. California is it's a different thing, and
I just don't get it, and I don't understand how the.
I'll tell you what, I don't get it. Nobody I hang out with gets it. I mean, it's
And
just
life
common
goes on.
sense. You look at something. I look at everything from a really common sense standpoint, and it's like, man, if it ain't working, it just seems almost anything I've ever done. Right? If whatever I'm doing is not working, I don't know that I've ever come to a spot where if I just do it twice as much, it'll work. It's weird, but that's all right. Just keep being a car guy.
Hey, you know what? Just blame it on Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
It's all his fault.
Of course it is. You know what's funny? If Trump walked on water, the headline would be Trump can't swim.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's really crazy. I mean,
To kind of get off the political thing, if he wasn't such an egomaniac, I don't think he could continue doing what he does. Because they are literally politically shooting machine guns at this guy 24/7, and he's standing there like Superman going, is that all you got?
yeah.
And he's doing it for free. He doesn't even collect check.
People don't remember that he's Teflon Don.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was back in the 70s and 80s that he got that name. He didn't get it for no reason.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you don't know who to believe, and you can't listen to the news.
The news.
Like I was listening to stuff that was going on yesterday, when they released that transcript.
yeah.
And I read that transcript because you can get it. Not a problem. And then we sit down to eat, and I flip on ABC News, the World News Tonight with that guy that looks like he should be a Kennedy. And
Totally different.
Yeah, everything that he said was, it was like, oh my God, they took pieces of that transcript out of context, and everything was sensationalized. And I'm like, even this asshole, it's ridiculous. Like the Inquirer is probably more accurate than any newspaper that's out there.
The media does.
It's insane. It's
And
absolutely
see,
insane.
and the thing is, people only see that, and that's all they know.
Yeah.
And then when you try to explain to them, like, hey, that's not what it said.
They don't believe it.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
They will not believe you.
People read the headlines and not the story. So if the headline is some crazy twisting of what's in the story, that's what people think went down. They read the headline and move on.
Back when we were younger, people actually read the paper. There was respect for the media. The media had respect for politics. Now everybody's so busy with everything. They just need those little snippets and sound bites, and they take them as gospel. So that anybody in the media knows how to work the system. Just put out the right sound bite. Bang, it's a headline. Everybody will believe it.
So now, if we could just convince the media to put out the snippet that says everyone should buy stuff from Hot Rod Innovations.
Right.
There you go.
There
Bam.
you go.
That's
Well,
right.
I got to work on figuring that angle out.
Well, maybe they talked to Summit already, and that's how that worked out. Maybe, who knows?
Summit's
The whole
good
time,
people.
they really have been awesome. And in fact, I was on probably a month back or so. We went to the coast. My in-laws rent this house about 20 minutes south of Santa Cruz. I think everybody knows kind of like Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So a little south of that in Monterey Bay, my in-laws rent this house that's on the beach every year around the same time. And everybody, me and my wife and our son and my sister-in-law and her husband and kids and my in-laws, and we all hang out for like a long weekend. It's really cool, just family time. And when we were there probably a month ago, his name's Barry Flesher. is the guy that I'm talking with at Summit. He's my contact, and we hadn't spoken in a little while. And I get this, my phone beeps, and it's an email, and I open it up, and it's from him. And he's just like, hey, just, I haven't talked to you in a while. Just want to touch bases, let you know that we haven't forgotten about you and we're on track. And I thought, man, that's pretty all right. You know what I mean? Just kind of,
Yeah.
He's, we're still rolling,
Nice.
So they've been really, really cool people, and they seem really easy to work with. And then I bumped into this guy. So we had a booth at the Good Guys West Coast Nationals here, end of August, here in the Bay Area. And so we had a booth set up. We do all the Good Guys, local Good Guys stuff. And so we had a booth set up, and there was a guy just inside the building from us. I'm trying to think of the name of it, something Billet. I feel terrible now because he's like the nicest guy. I had to give him a plug. Anyhow, they do like all the billet hood hinges with like the little gas shocks and stuff, like all the muscle cars, really nice stuff. And they Summit sells their stuff, and him and I were chatting.
Billet
our parts.
Specialties.
No, not Billet Specialties.
Specialties?
No, I want to say it's American Billet, but I could be wrong. And now I'm going to feel bad. But and Summit sells his stuff, and he said the same thing. He goes, man, I got to tell you, they are a really great company to do business with, because that was one of my concerns anyway. Is they're huge, and I'm not, and you get, stars in your eyes. You're like, oh, Summit, right? Or Jags or whoever. Somebody like that could swallow up somebody like my wife and I, right? We could easily just get eaten alive. And but he's like, man, they are so cool, and they're all about working with whoever. And so that was a pretty cool feeling. It was nice to hear, like I said, I've been buying parts from them forever and always had a good experience. But you never know how it, behind the curtain, so to speak, right? That's always kind of
speaking about that, Summit and Jags, they're like pretty much, you look at the catalogs, it's pretty much equal. They're in different places, but they sell the same stuff. And I always wondered about the business models, because there's places I buy my swimming pool stuff from. One is called In the Swim, and the other is Doheni's. And I swear it's the same company, because it's like the same products, the same prices. It's exactly. Either they're so close as competitors that they do exactly what the other one does, which is great. And Summit and Jags are kind of the same way. And I wondered if, are they just co-competing in the same market, or is it like cousins who just own each one and they just...
They're definitely separate, because one of the things that the guy at Summit had mentioned, and we haven't gone into this at all, but he had mentioned the phrase exclusivity. So I know that they are separated for sure, right? Now for that to happen, and I don't even, anyway, who knows, right? That would be whatever, something to discuss down the road. But just for him using that phrase.
Yeah, that's like a no-compete clause. So basically you'll have to sign, you can't sell that product through anybody else for X amount of time, or through your tenure with them, whatever, which, I guess that makes sense.
Well, it makes sense if they're going to commit to buying a certain amount.
Well, right, exactly. If the deal is right, it makes sense, yeah.
Right, and I doubt, I would be shocked if they would start off with that. I think we've been selling parts, the sales have been good, and everybody digs it. And our biggest problem at this point is just getting them in front of people. When people see it, they're like, dude, that idea is like crazy. How come no one's done this?
And you know what?
And at that point, the sale's easy. So I'm not worried about them selling the parts, and I don't think they're worried about it either. But the reality is, right, until the money's in the bank account, I wouldn't think they would want to sign on to, and I'm not trying to unsell my product. I probably sound like I'm unselling myself, but if I were them, I wouldn't want to sign on and guarantee a certain amount of it. We're going to buy whatever, no matter what. I know they're going to sell it, but like I said, the proof's in the pudding.
They do their due diligence. They're car guys too, so they see the product. They know what it can do. And
absolutely.
Let's face it, even if they have a little bit of a doubt, they're big enough to take a chance.
Yeah, and at least for our spring kits, we're not talking about a lot of money. Per kit, this is nickel and dime for them.
Sure, that's what I mean. They're big enough to absorb that if they had to. Yeah.
But you know what? The kit, it's a nickel and dime for them, but it's a game changer. Just even looking at it, it's a game changer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives a whole different look. That it's amazing that they only had that spring. That you could take it off your screen door and use the spring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's been there forever. And then you come with a piece that don't even look good. It's functional, and you know what I mean?
Well, thanks. And I talked earlier about the whole SEMA thing and, your game changer. What we are bringing this year, I'm telling you, it's going to be like, it's right here. I want to say it, but I'm afraid.
Don't say it. Don't do it.
I got a question on that.
Yeah.
Is that hydraulic piston, is it adjustable in terms of, in other words, like a shock absorber?
There's no oil in it.
Do you understand where I'm going though?
To
change the feel of the pedal.
Yes, no. So it is adjustable.
Stiff, but you could do
that. So it has it has the adjuster ring to preload the spring.
Okay.
There's just no oil in the shock. The shock's just the carrier, right? We're not trying to slow down the action of the spring, but yes, it's fully adjustable to change the feel of the throttle pedal.
Okay, that's
cool. Yeah.
I was thinking shock absorbers. I'm like, wow, you know what? We could stiffen up that shock on the compression side.
Yes.
Give the pedal a different feel.
That's exactly what it does.
Leave the spring to push it back.
I'll tell you this. I'm using it on a dual quad setup, and on the main carburetor, I have it set where it feels great. And even when I actuate the second one, it's not like it stacks up or gets harder. It's just linear. It's linear. It's unbelievable. It's
it's like a new car. Yeah. So and that was the thing we were looking for too. It's like a new car, right? The throttle pedal, the what it takes to push the pedal, it's consistent, right? I mean, all the way to the floor and back, it's the same feel,
right?
And that's exactly what this does.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Very
cool.
I haven't drove mine yet, so I don't know. I'll just put it on.
You'll be happy with it, and if you're not, I'll send you something that we'll make sure you're good. I mean, that's I'm big on customer service, man. Whatever it takes to get everybody dialed in and happy. I mean, that's the name of the game in this business. Right. I want to be the guy that everyone says, if you call Dave, he's going to take care of you. So,
and it's the truth. He had to send Ray a part. Didn't he send you an extra part?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, the mounting bracket needed to be a little longer, coming out, the width of it. And I sent Dave some pictures and showed him. I think he made a sketch, and no problem. A couple of days, the new one was there. There you go. Here you go.
Awesome.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to be that way in this world. I mean, here's the deal. I'm a car guy. That's it. That's my whole world. I grew up with this. It's my passion. It's my everything, right? So now I'm just a car guy making parts for car guys. It's like making something for myself. And if I buy something or I'm dealing with somebody in this capacity, you want to be treated right. You want to, I work hard for my money. So you want it to be what it needs to be, Mm-hmm. And so you just got to approach it with that same mentality. Like, and I know whenever I have a good experience, like I did.
That's how it looks on the dual quad setup. Why isn't it? Doesn't look good to me here. That's for damn sure. Looking in the computer.
Go a little closer.
Get close to the camera. There you go. Move to your left. Nice.
How about like that? Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, there it is.
It's all just about customer service. I mean, just like the guy at Summit, I was just praising, right? I'm like, man, they're so cool to deal with. This guy's a good guy. I mean, that's important. Versus, you called 3 times, you can't get a call back. The guy was rude, or
well, Dave, it goes part and parcel. I mean, we take it for granted because we're all the same nature. But like we're talking, like with politics, we see things, we either fix it or we find someone who can fix it. And you, as a manufacturer, you take care of your customers, you address it, you fix it, you move on. Instead of the other side where this doesn't work. I need a new one. Now I want something for free. It's like you just whine about it until do something. Be proactive. Fix the damn thing. And it's that whole
offended.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Now we can't call it a throttle spring anymore because the springs of the world will be offended.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm laughing, but good grief.
Sad but true.
true.
Metallica stuff.
It's getting ugly out there, man.
I got to be totally honest with you. I never thought I'd be living in a world that's just loaded with pussies and assholes.
No.
Yep. Yep.
Never thought it would be like this.
It's crazy.
We got this huge group of people that are talking about they're going to start a revolution. They can't start a lawnmower. I mean,
Well, you know what?
what bathroom to use?
It's not the majority. It's the minority that's just louder than the majority, and it makes everybody think it's the majority, but it's not.
Well, the media is their megaphone.
Yeah.
I mean,
just
the
have to
media
remember-
latches on to 5 people and talks like it's half the country. I mean, it's
It's time for the
It's-
silent majority to start making some noise.
Yeah.
well, the silent majority made a bunch of noise in 2016 when they elected Trump.
And again in 2020.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
I
it's
think it's going to be a landslide, to be honest.
why. I mean, well, look what happened, right? I mean, the media couldn't decide if it was going to be a landslide or a blowout for Hillary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, they literally said he has zero chance of winning.
Right.
And he turned states red that hadn't been red in like 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy, right? I mean,
You know,
And
well,
when-
you know why? Because business drives the country. He's a businessman, and you can connect with a guy like that. I mean, you have to agree with everything he says or the way he does it, but none of us do. But
Right.
he knows how to run shit, and even if you're just a guy who goes to work and you have a household, you have to run that household. There's a budget. You got to have some accountability. You can't just say, "Oh, I need more money to pay the oil bill." No, go out. And
he's
earn
the
it.
only guy in our government right now that's ever signed the front of the check.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
He's the
Yeah,
only
so
one to
take-
ever sign the front of the check. Everyone else signs the back of the check.
It's a good way
He
to
has
take
to
it.
take a family. You know what I mean? So he gets it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. And all these politicians, they just none of them get it. None of them worry about it. I mean, it is what it is. But
Entitlement.
That's
going to be ugly. We'll get another 4 years of trying to impeach him or something.
I can't believe they haven't shot at him yet, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny. My dad and I talked about that a couple days ago. That I can't believe nobody's taking a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, knock on wood, right? I mean,
Yeah, he needs to step up his security a little more because it's coming. Because if they keep losing like they're losing, they're going to start shooting at him.
Yeah, but they can't shoot straight. Come on, they got to know. Like you said, like Dave said, they can't start a lawnmower, let alone a revolution. How are they going to fire it?
They're all anti-gun, so we're probably good there.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
arguing
yeah.
which bathroom to use.
I honestly think the reason that they haven't taken him out like they took out Kennedy is because this country would completely get nuts.
Yeah. I
They
think
would
so,
know.
too.
If somebody took him out, everybody would just blame the other side, and it would be just mass pandemonium from the East Coast to the West Coast, north to south.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
The people
we are on the
capable
verge of that.
the people
Yeah,
that
we're on the verge, yeah.
doing that are being cautious because they would lose complete control. I mean, this country would fold up. It would be
Yeah.
if they put a
it's a pretty sad moment when 9/11, right? That's the worst thing that's ever happened in this country in my lifetime, and hopefully in my son's lifetime. But not that he was around, but hopefully nothing that huge ever happens again. But I'll tell you what came out of that was awesome, and that is September
Unity.
12th.
Patriotism, yeah.
We weren't
Yep.
Republicans, Democrats. We weren't white or black. We weren't, gay,
right.
straight. We were just Americans, and everybody had a flag hanging, and everybody rolled up their sleeves and said, "Fuck that! This shit will not stand." Right? Wouldn't it be cool to get back to that?
It's kind of funny to say that because this carburetor I'm rebuilding now for the T-Bird, the guy is a retired NYPD detective. He was in 9/11. I saw him. He's had a plug up his nose. He just had another operation, 9/11 related, and he's ailing. He's out there, but he's ailing. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to charge this guy for this carburetor. I'm going to charge him for the kit, just for the parts I laid out. I said, this is going to be on me. You know, I mean, I said, just got to want to pay that forward a little bit. I just something told me to do that. Like,
Yeah.
so that's it. You know, he doesn't know yet, but he's getting a freebie.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's sad that that I look back and wish it was, you know, I don't wish for September 11th by any stretch, but that we were back, you know, I mean, that was the one thing that came out of that whole deal is
Think about it. The other thing was the next day we had the politicians telling us, "Oh, the air is safe to breathe. It's okay. Take these particle masks. You'll be fine." Right? People are dying left and right still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's her name? That woman. Oh shit! I had it in my thing. I can't think of it now. The one who said that.
Hey guys, I gotta jump off because my computer's going to die. So you guys can stay on and do your thing. But I gotta jump because I'm about 2% here. But hey, Dave, man, I really appreciate you coming on, man, and we're gonna get together at SEMA and
Yes.
Absolutely.
and do our thing for sure.
50031, but I'll talk to you before then.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. Thanks everybody in the chat room. And I will see you next week. I think I might have a really special guest next week if I can get connected up. Somebody that everybody knows and knows her husband or his. Let me. Bye.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
So,
All right.
oh yeah.
Cool beans.
Oh man, yeah. So,
Well-
where were we?
Yeah, we're fixing all the world's problems.
I know, you know, but these are conversations. I probably have the same conversation, you know, 4, 5, 6 times a week with different people. You know, it's just a common thread that just everybody's talking about it. This is
Well, we're fixers, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. Look at a problem, go, that's the problem. We're going to fix this. You're going to unbolt this. You're going to put this. We're going to make an adjustment. That's what we all do, right? And in whatever capacity we do it. And I think for people like us to look at what's happening and just go, "Hey, people deaf or blind or stupid or all the above," or I mean, it's pretty wild. I mean, like I said, regardless of my political leaning, how do you just not look at a problem and go, getting rid of plastic straws with paper wrappers in trade of a paper straw and a plastic wrapper? I don't know that we've solved the world's problems. You know what I mean? It's bizarre.
why wouldn't they put it in a paper wrapper? I don't understand. Is it
Yeah,
really
why
that?
couldn't they do that? Paper is paper.
Is it that anti-paper kind of? Well, but no, because you have a paper straw. So, and what's the biodegradable factor between the paper and the? Well, we know that the plastic doesn't, but you know the plastic wrapper. You know, that just sounds insane to do that. Unless it's a sanitary thing, maybe you know shit can leach through the paper, the wrapper. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know. But all the people that are like, "Oh, it's wonderful," are the same people that get a Starbucks every day, and that's got a plastic lid. And I mean, it's
Right.
you know,
Plastic
Don't even mention Starbucks around me.
Yeah. Huh?
No, I can't stand that company. I can't stand the employees. I can't stand the concept.
The baristas.
Yeah,
Barista.
the assholes.
I remember the first time. Every time I go in, I get screwed because I'm like, I just want a coffee. I just want a freaking coffee
They
with
don't
half
do
and
that.
half. I know.
Go to 7-Eleven, go to
Yeah.
Wawa, go to Thornton's, go
Right.
elsewhere, go to Racetrack.
Right.
Do
Right.
not
Raceway.
go there.
Exactly. You're right.
I don't
You'll-
support them at all.
I don't
Unfortunately,
buy anything.
First
Yeah.
time I ever went to one was in MacArthur Airport. Starbucks there. Told the guy I wanted a large, light, and sweet coffee. He looked at me like I was from some other planet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't get it?
Yeah.
Well, no, you got to go by the man. I'm like, what's the biggest fucking cup you got?
Right.
I
Fill that.
said, fill it till you got about 1.5 inches left at the top.
Yeah.
I said, and then pour cream in it
Yeah.
and just give it to me.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like I was the jerk.
Right.
You know, and he had like 6 earrings and a thing in his nose, and he was all tatted up. And I'm like, I don't care if that's what you're into.
Yeah.
But, you're
Well,
like
I'll
19
tell you what.
years old. You're wet behind the ears. You don't know jack shit. And the reason you look like you do is because everybody else from your generation thinks that that's how they should look.
I guarantee if you handed him one of these and said measure an inch and a half, he couldn't
wouldn't
do that
know how
either.
to do that.
Right.
Yeah. I get it all the time when you go to a store. If they don't punch in what you give them on the register, they don't know how to count the goddamn change.
Exactly.
It's like,
And you know what
really?
the thing is, I do the calculation in my head, but I got to count backwards because they'll start like with the 10, the 5, then the 2 ones, and I'm going to go the other way, change, then the singles and the 5. So I got to always do it. I find myself doing it backwards. It's like mental gymnastics.
Well, it's like going to Pep Boys, right? And you're like, I need a set of Autolite 26s or whatever. And they're
What
like,
car are they for?
yeah, your make and model, it's a blower motor. Oh, what? I just need I could see them. They're right behind you. Just turn around, grab the box, and I'll be on my way.
Yeah.
Your make and model. Does that have power steering? Is that oh my God, are you kidding me right now? I've almost come across the counter more than once at a Pep Boys. Just hand me the spark plug, Zippy, and I'm going to be on my way. It's
Well, there's a whole problem with auto parts, period.
Well, it used
One of my
the auto parts store used to be guys that were that were retired mechanics or whatever. You could tell the guy what you needed, and he was your guy, right? Now it's the guy that couldn't get a job as a barista at Starbucks. He works at Kragen's now.
That's the store at the corner from my house. It's a mom and pop auto parts store. Been there since the 70s.
Last week,
home parts.
one of my employees calls me up and he's like, the turn signal bulb blew out on the van. He goes, so I went to AutoZone, and they told me they didn't have the bulb because it was too new. It wasn't in the system.
Oh,
it's
gee.
a 2018 Chevy 2500 cargo van. So he's like, we got to find a bulb. I'm like, well, when you come to the shop, I'll put a bulb in it. He goes, oh, you have them? I'm like, it's the same damn bulb that they've been making for like 11 years now.
Right.
Instead of an 1157,
2057.
it's a 2057.
Right.
I reached in my glove box and I pulled out. I have a two packs. I took the taillight lens out and I popped it out, and then I popped the next one in. Done. See you later. Bye.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you can't even get a taillight bulb,
We had a guy, one of our friends called the show a few weeks ago, maybe it's a month ago now, and he said that O'Reilly's bought Pep Boys. I was like,
really?
oh, yeah, that's what I said. Exactly what I
That
said.
happened.
He said I think he met an O'Reilly's guy at the was it one of the hot rod shows? What the hell was it? Maybe it was at Dead Man's Curve in Jersey, and they were talking about it, and they said, yeah, that they had bought Pep Boys, and they're gonna. I can only hope that it's true, because Pep Boys, as far as I go in there to buy car wash, soap, oil if it's on sale, nothing else. Unfortunately, the shop I'm working at, they have an account over there, so I see the guy at the commercial counter, so at least he's okay, Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Yeah.
The world's falling apart right in front of our eyes.
I know.
Oh yeah.
The problem is common sense is not common.
Right.
And it's not a gift, it's a curse. Because you got to deal with everyone in the world that didn't get any.
Yeah.
You just walk around mumbling to yourself. I've turned into the grumpy old guy.
Yeah,
That's me.
I think we all did. Yeah.
Tired of dealing with people that I don't know how they made it to work today. Like,
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've come home, and my wife like, well, what's the matter? I'm like, leave me alone. I'm a grumpy old man. And she's like, well, I know that, but what's the matter? I was like, you don't want to know. Like, I'll tell you later. Just make the ravioli.
my wife.
Ravioli, homemade sauce, meatballs. We had sausage, John. No, we didn't have any braciole tonight, but we had garlic bread. It was nice.
We had all of that on Sunday.
Yeah, it was a good dinner.
It was great.
I haven't even had dinner yet.
Got
You're
up like
killing me.
7 o'clock. Started making the sauce at like 7 in the morning.
Yes.
I was like, good for you.
That's how you do it.
Well, I'm about to go get some dinner now. Shoot, I haven't even had dinner.
Oh yeah, it's early for you.
Right.
Out there.
Yeah, it's 7:30.
7:30. Yeah, that's about when I eat. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to sign off.
All right.
You guys,
It was good.
this has been wonderful. Thank you.
Dave, I'll be in touch. We'll get you back on the radio show. We'll have you do a call in, and this way you get on the East Coast audience on the radio feed.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I still have your information. I'll be in touch with you. I'll
Check
send-
back the website here in just a little bit, in a few weeks, and I'll probably 2 weeks or so before SEMA, we will debut what we're going to debut at SEMA, and I think everybody's going to be like, I'm telling you, there's some wow factor here.
Well,
Nice.
I can't wait to come up to the booth and see it. So it's gonna be,
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be there,
I go every year.
dude. I swear, I will be so mad if you don't come by the booth.
Oh, I absolutely will.
All right,
See,
cool.
See, it's like a lot of people are like, oh my God, I want to go to SEMA. It's like this big, huge car thing. It's like all this car stuff. So I said to my wife, I said, we should start going out to the SEMA show. She goes, where is it? Vegas. Oh, I'm in. I'm like, cool. She loves going to Vegas. And
Dude, that show
as
is
long
so
as we stay in a hotel that she picks, it's all golden.
Right.
So
awesome.
last year we stayed at the Venetian and it was so great. I said, let's go back to the Venetian again. She's like, I'm in. So
Yeah.
she gets a suite. She knows that it's going to cost a boatload of money to do this trip. But I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. And I love
That's
it.
awesome. Well,
We're
booth,
staying at got a
5
nice suite, the Venetian, and we just jump on that monorail and go right over to SEMA. And it's going to be awesome. Have a good time.
Cool.
Excellent.
50031, and I'll have it on the website here pretty quick.
Not a problem.
Our booth number and stuff. So
Good. Well, I got
Yeah.
the SEMA app on the phone. I got my tickets came and my buyer's guide. I got all of that stuff. So yeah,
Sweet.
I'll come see you.
awesome, dude. Cool.
All right.
Well, you guys have an awesome evening, and thanks again for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'll
Excellent.
call you probably in a couple of weeks because I'm going to want to purchase one of those things for this Camaro deal.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send you one. So
They'll be sending the motor for this thing in a few weeks. So should
Cool.
be good.
I'll take care of you, man.
Awesome. I'm going to love when that crate shows up.
Yeah,
I bet.
that'd be nice.
Yeah. Should be cool.
All right, fellas.
All right.
Okay.
You guys have a great night. Thank you.
Good night, guys. Talk to you soon,
See
Dave.
you later.
Good
All
night.
right.
Bye.
Bye.